Okay, so moving on to our next topic. As we all know, the digital revolution is about scalability and making things more efficient. So our aim for this event isn't just to cover the theory side of it, but also to curate a sharing session that is lined with practical tips, that's number one, and also insights from real industry operators who's been in the game for an extended period of time. So on our second topic of the day, it's about working efficiently using the right tools. But first, before I invite my panel of speakers here, but I'd like to talk a little bit about why this topic is important, right? So if we look at industry tools such as channel managers, revenue management systems, they've all gone mainstream, and its adoption is growing exponentially. So today, we are honored to have friends from the software companies like Cloudbits, Gojek, and SiteMinder to join us. The trends continue towards using software solutions to drive engagement and productivity. It's now a business must-do or a must-have for sure. The advancements of software solutions have always addressed much more broader business segments such as CRM, things like HR or ERPs, rather than actually industry verticals. So today we're pivoting the discussion about vertical adoption of software solutions and how can they serve us to work more efficiently in our ecosystem. All right, so some of the industry verticals that we'll be covering today include channel management, selection and evaluation, pricing algorithms and yield management, and lastly, should we build an in-house software or use something off the shelf? Okay, so to speak on this, we have invited 4 panelists, and I'd like to invite them on stage. Panelists, can I have you on stage, please? Can I get a round of applause for my panelists, please? Thank you. All right, okay. Oh, getting very chummy in there on the sofa. All right, so, okay, closest to me we have Mr. Bayu Setiawan, CTO of Bukit Vista. As a tech enthusiast, Bayu constantly turns to technology to support the business. And in 2010, Bayu actually introduced radio streaming into his station to reach out to a new segment of digital savvy listeners. Thereafter, he joined us as a hospitality specialist and climbed the ranks covering different fields such as content production and internal tools. His latest project centers around developing data, analytics, and machine learning to enhance hospitality service and quality in Bukit Vista. All right, can we get a round of applause for Bayu? Next, we have Christian Sangari, APAC Market Manager from Cloudbits. Christian has 9 years of hospitality experience. His current role in Cloudbits is to work with independent properties through San Francisco. Welcome, Christian. Okay, and next we actually, on your extreme right, we have Jordan. Jordan Oon, CEO and founder of Host the Stay. Jordan is an EE graduate. He started his own tech company when he was just only 24. He's exited his business twice, but founded Host the Stay 2 years ago. Jordan started from a host as well and has now built Host the Stay to more than 50 units. All right. And of course, lastly, we have Ken joining us again on this panel. Ken does not need any introduction. We've already met him, yeah. All right, so let's start off with a broad but close to home topic on software. So, panelists, the software solution industry has exploded. So regardless of the industry, what do you think makes up a good software solution? Can you share your point of view with our audience today? Would someone like to start? Please go ahead and take the mics. All right, Bayu.
Okay, so I think I want to start because we are a user, especially at Bukit Vista. We are a host actually. So tool is something that we use to enhance our business to give excellent services, but it's not our product. So I think if the question is how should like tools or channel managers or any other platform that we are using should be, I think it should be enhancing the hospitality itself, and then reducing inefficiency, especially in daily operation. And also, this can deliver a unique value to our business because we are doing hospitality, we are meeting people. We are not delivering product, but we are delivering hospitality.
But you talked about unique value. What do you mean by that? Can you just share a little bit more about that one?
Okay, I think I can explain it with an example,
Okay.
maybe because we are hosting, we will have guests. We can be busy with tools like sending an automated message to guests, for example. Hey, your check-in is in another 2 hours. This is the GPS, like something like very robot-y, right? But I think what we can do with technology is that all of this information is available there, can be automated, but as a host, we can use this to make it more personal. We already know where the guest is coming from, what kind of traveler they are. Is it a couple or a family? Then we, as a human, as a host, then we can use that information to make them feel like they are very special, that we do a background research for them, right? Not like a deep, creepy background research, of course, but like, hey, I see you're coming from with your family. That might not in every hotel have that. Or maybe some hotel already apply that, but in a small host like us, I think we can use technology for that kind of thing, that we are a special, we are an unusual host that understand the guests. I think that's how we can use the tools.
Okay, thank you, Bayu. Thank you for sharing that with us. Can I get another panelist to speak? Jordan.
So I was a tech provider, so we built solutions for a lot of people, and basically technology sums it down to one point. Every technology is created by human, right? And all the technology is used by human, right? So end of the day, a lot of people create techs and they want it to be very techy. I want this function to be better. But at the end of the day, they've forgotten who is going to use the system. For example, my tech guys, I asked them, hey, go and clean the toilet, all right? Go and check in, go and check out. If you as a user doesn't want to use the system, don't build a system, right? So if someone is going to manually check in and it's easier than using a system, why use a system? Okay, because technically a good software must help you to ease your time, reduce your workload, but not giving you more trouble. So that, to me, defines what is a good software solution.
Thank you, Jordan. Thank you very much for that. What about Ken? What do you think?
For us, I think what we want most is consistency and not causing any issues during the service of the software. So, for example, I think a couple of years back we had a buggy software that like released dates on like New Year's Eve for like really cheap. So that kind of software does not qualify as good software, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Christian, over to you.
Okay, so selamat siang, good afternoon, everyone. So I'll try not to hard sell, yeah, on this thing, but regardless of the industry, so we're talking about it a broad perspective of how technology is really affecting us, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, the software, good software, would be something that would suit your needs and what it is that you're looking for, without causing you too much pain. Obviously, because technology is always changing, we're always developing new things. But ultimately, the goal here is to find something that will make your life easier in whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. So I think that would be a general answer to that kind of question.
Okay, thank you, Christian. Thank you very much. All right, so maybe let's move on to the next question. Panelists, so could you please take a piece of paper and marker on your table? All right, so we're going to ask a question. We all agree, right? Globally, software solutions have succeeded in most industries. We know things like Amazon Web Service, we know things like Dropbox. So on a scale of 1 to 5, where do you think Southeast Asia countries are at compared to our global counterparts? I'd like to get your sentiment on that. But while you guys are thinking about your number, maybe let's poll the audience as well. All right, guys. So we all know that software solutions are a big thing globally, but in Southeast Asia or in Indonesia, do you think that our landscape is ready for such an adoption, or do you think we're there? Who thinks it's number 1? Anybody will score 1? Everybody think maybe score 2? 3? Okay, we've got some. 3, we're average, we're almost there, right? As compared to our global counterparts. 4? Okay, 5? Okay, I think our average is 3. And let's see if the sentiment between the audience and the panelists is the same. Bayu, what do you have? 3, not bad. Well done. You did Bukit Vista proud. Christian, what about you? 3, well done too. I guess same sentiment. 3. Jordan, wow. Did you guys hear it first before you all write the number down? Okay, so I guess the sentiment is very similar between the end user and also service providers, which is very interesting. So it sounds like our service providers here all know what the pain points is of the end users and what the industry is actually feeling right now. So panelists, you have given your individual scores. Can I just ask a quick question? Maybe let's start off with Ken. What signals or trends have you witnessed in the marketplace that makes you think this way? Why do you give a score of 3?
I think the ease of adoption is actually not that easy yet. I think it's quite hard for a layman hotel operator who doesn't know tech too well to implement a lot of these things. It's not so easy that it's just plug and play. It's not as easy as signing up for an email. It's still a little bit difficult. So I think that's the reason why I'm putting it at that score. It's just not so easy that everyone does it.
That's a bit of an interesting topic. So isn't it actually the software developer side on our end to then create to consider UX, right? And then create it for the user.
Yeah, absolutely. Personally, I find it, it requires quite a bit of thought to actually implement it and quite a bit of understanding of the nature of the business. I don't think like someone who just came into the business could do it immediately. It takes quite a lot of time.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Jordan, maybe we move on to you. What do you think?
I think if it's in a high-tech area, for example, like Bali, KL, Jakarta, it's probably 4. But if you look at places, we've been to rural areas, homestays, associations. They are in the rural areas. They do not have internet coverage at all, right? So it's it's almost impossible to put it. So it's a bit hard for me to vote. But if you put it, Southeast Asia, we are not only just cities. If you look at Southeast Asia as a whole, I will give you a very low rate, 1 or 2. But if you look at the city, we are very much advanced at a 4 or 5. Yeah, so it depends where are we penetrating. But if you're talking about mass adoption, I think we are really at 1 or 2.
Okay, and what do you think is missing in the community right now to help? As service providers in this industry, right, we need to lead the market. So what do you think is sorely missing in the market right now from a service provider? What do you think that we have not done as a community enough to serve our clients?
Okay, I think there are not many really tech companies in Southeast Asia. They are all global players. Local players need to stand up, and it's not only just tech providers. For example, a community like this, if there are more gatherings like this, and there are more, for example, from the northern side of Bali, or not even Bali, maybe from Lombok and all these places, if they come around and they hear more about this, and I think the penetration will be better. I think it's potentially an awareness issue, because, well, if I'm doing fine, if I'm not, Southeast Asian mentality is if it's not broken, don't fix it. Okay, so we need to tell them that, hey, this is outdated, right? So they are not up to date with this information. So I think having more community, more awareness is the first step forward.
Okay. So is Host Away doing any community activities in Malaysia? How's the market, community market actually in Malaysia right now?
Yeah, so we started off with this in mind. So we hosted a lot of community events, and we started off to go into deeper rural areas, not only in the city areas. We start moving into the outskirts. Then we have community events. We try to at least make it that we must be there every single month, with or without clients. If we start in a place, then we need to go in there every single month. And it actually seems like what Rafiq said, it starts from trust. In Southeast Asia, it's not about how good your tech is, because a lot of good tech company came 2 to 5 years ago and they tried to use it, the support is not there. So, wow, okay, I'm going to hop onto this, but hello, how does this work? So the community, the support needs to be there. So we think that by moving a step forward, if we were to start an industry, I think having a community support, at least have a local, not to say a tech support, but local expert, all right, to understand the system. So if you have anything, you can talk to him, or even to support. I think that is the first way moving forward.
this becomes a bit of a crossroads, right, for people like us who are in the tech business, but who also is working in a industry or in a market that's very community and face-to-face driven. Bayu, what do you think about that actually?
So yeah, this is I think the very very real problem. Hospitality is very traditional business, right? It has been here for 100 years, I guess, and people behind this industry are mostly, or the practice in this industry has been found all the long found best practices that they always use, like traditional meeting people and do a reservation beforehand and just showing up, or some old practices. But the culture of innovation is not there yet for hospitality institution. So we have a lot of innovation in terms of technology. Software company, for example, the channel managers, now they are having a lot of technologies, a lot of new features, things like that. But inside the hospitality company itself, the host itself, we're not thinking about innovation yet. Like, how should I, or should I use technology to help my business or not? It's not in the most in the most important thing for each company yet. So I think what we can do about that is that we need to nurture the innovation, what do you call it, culture.
Yep.
That even hospitality industry need to do innovation. Not only tech company that need innovation, but also hospitality industry. We don't know that maybe 10 years ago we don't know that we can manage booking automatically using channel manager. Maybe 10 years ago no one knows what is a channel manager, right? Even the channel maybe not exist yet, but now we know about that, and maybe now it's a practice. But what about next 10 years? What is the hospitality industry in the next year? Is it going to be fully automated? All the receptionists are robots, or no person need to receive anyone in a big hotel? We don't know, but as a hospitality practitioner, we need to ask that question. And yeah, that's actually a snippet of my role at Bukit Vista, to find out about that. So what can we do with this technology as a host to make the experience better, both for guests and especially for the employees, because people will burn out. Like especially if you are planning to grow, now you have one property, you have like 10 guests per day, for example. What if you have 10 property, you have 100 guests, you will need another 10 person doing that. And then what if you have 1,000 guests a day? Then you will need 100% doing that. But maybe with technology, we don't need to scale linearly with the human resource. Basically, we can keep the number low in terms of headcounts, but the capacity of doing the operation can be much higher.
Okay, Bayu, thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, maybe we move on to Christian. Christian is from Cloudbids, a global SaaS company as well. Christian, maybe you can share with us a little bit more about how does Cloudbids do it. You guys are a global company. I'm sure you've been in many countries. I'm sure you've seen situations like this before, where there is a crossroads between technology and adoption. Maybe you'd like to share a little bit more. Do we have any old examples?
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, in a sense, being a global company, and that's what most SaaS companies are today, global companies without borders. Even internally, we're all spread out throughout the world. And obviously, throughout different areas or regions of the world, we have differences in culture and acceptance rate, right, in this kind of technology. And agreeing with Jordan, education becomes a big factor. It's about awareness. How do these users know the benefits of having a software? What's in it for me? What's in it for those people? So that's where I feel like that's where this market is at the moment. We are more or less educators in how we show the benefit of using technology to their side. But I mean, speaking honestly, I mean, a lot has to do also with the regulation and also infrastructure in terms of having an online company running in where the internet is not that great. That would be quite problematic. But you know, it's, as I said before, technology is always changing, is always developing. We're finding ways to go through that. But I think, yeah, that's why I gave that score. I think more or less we need to be more aware in this region because obviously in other parts of the world where technology is much more closer to the people, it's way faster and way easier.
So the product is the same across, or I mean globally, across different markets, right? What do you think is lacking here in whether it's Indonesia? Let's speak on Indonesia and Malaysia from the end user side.
End user, as in
The
the user of
users,
our
yes, correct.
Sorry, what was like the question is what is the
So CloudBits is as a product globally is the same product across all the world, right?
Yes.
So why is it more successful? Why do you have higher market penetration in other countries compared to say Malaysia or Indonesia or Southeast Asia? What do you think from an end user's perspective when you look at the consumer segment?
Yeah.
What is lacking in Southeast Asia that you see in the other markets that has a higher adoption rate?
I think it comes back with the awareness again. But I mean, nowadays, people have to realize, and this is my own viewpoint, of course, you can disagree with me, but the market is always changing. And when we're talking about the market for these end users, it's the guests. How are they booking or looking for accommodations nowadays? You know, travelers, the number of travelers are increasing. People, this generation are really looking into more information on the internet, and how are we leveraging that? How are we kind of giving out information? Because the guest experience starts with that as well. Like when someone's making a decision to book or stay at a specific location or a destination, they're obviously researching this on a lot of websites, on information from social media, talking with friends, people that's been there before. So word of mouth is also a big thing, and information. Now, information comes in a lot of packages, right? When you're talking about Airbnb, for example, reviews are obviously a big thing. So reviews are impacted by the actual experience, and also, yeah, that's basically the main thing that will affect that. So I think for the end user is how aware they are about the benefits of having a streamlined kind of technology that will let them do all of that in a very simple way. Saves them time, saves them money, maybe increase their bottom line. So, you know, things like that, a lot of things to think about. But yeah, I guess that's it.
Thank you, Christian. And maybe we move on to Ken. Ken, do you also think that awareness is the main problem for end users, which is what's kind of stopping Southeast Asia from adopting software as a solution?
Yeah, absolutely. I think not a lot of hello. So not a lot of operators actually know what's missing or what can help them. I think a lot of us, when we first started, we probably listed on 2 properties, and then in the middle of the night, we kind of like turned off. Okay, this one got booked, and then this one I have to wake up and turn that one off as well. So I think some of us went through that kind of pain points. But a lot of time, I think just the basic layman just don't get the awareness that they need. Again, it's up to you guys, but it's not really on our part.
Okay, so when we talk about awareness, what do you maybe one of the panelists would like to share with us? What exactly are we talking about when it comes to awareness? Are we talking about the end user not even understanding the concept of a software solution, or are we talking about the details of it, of the how does it work, how does it benefit us? Okay. All right, hold on.
This is very interesting topic. There was a time I went to Sikkim. It's in the northeast India. It's a very rural area. And the things that you have said, awareness of the community. They're actually aware of the site like Airbnb and Booking.com. But the thing is that it happens with the local people. They don't have the credit cards, and it's like a big barrier for them. I'm trying to help them, but they need the credit cards, and the government don't really support them in a way. So probably that is the biggest barrier also. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question. So I think this is a question that's quite relatable to all four of you, because this is actually, as service providers, we sometimes also actually have payment gateways. I believe like end-to-end, I see Jordan nodding, and you know. So basically, I think this is also an act or responsibility on the service provider side. Jordan, would you like to share more with us?
Is it the guest doesn't have the credit card or the host doesn't? The host. Okay. I believe there's a lot of ways to work around it. I think a lot of booking platforms has virtual credit cards now. But if they do not have a bank account, I think that is a bigger issue. Yeah, so there are parts of the world that doesn't even have bank accounts. Okay, I think the credit card issue should be potentially solvable by a lot of OTAs now. So yeah, I think if they don't have a bank account, we need really payment gateways, finance, fintechs players to come into the picture. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jordan. I hope that answers your question. Okay, all right. So, Bayu, do you have any? We've already covered Bayu. We've covered Christian. Jordan, would you like to add anything else on on your end?
For the questions previously.
Previously.
I believe that is the issues that we are facing now. I think. We might not need to go that far yet, because the first thing, potentially Bali might not be that far in. Well, before we go into the more rural area parts, let's start with the city areas to get the community actually work together and bring the technology. For example, I think the awareness is not on the tourist side, because Airbnb, Agoda, Booking.com, they are doing very good job on that. But then for the owner to understand that they need to pay for a PMS system, for a channel manager system, or even that you need to invest into having your own Facebook account, Instagram account, I think that is already a huge issue. And potentially there are a lot of places, even in Malaysia, they can't accept profit sharing yet. So they need to look into guarantee return that, oh, you rent my house and that's all. But then I believe to move forward, long before this, there is the hotel industry. Then there is the budget hotel industry. The budget hotel doesn't have a regulation. And long before this, in budget hotel, they rent a building and they start to put it on hotel platforms, Booking.com and everything. Then now they are not doing guaranteed return anymore. They are not paying rental. They are doing on a profit sharing or service basis. And I believe this will be the future of short stay industry, handling villas. Now I'm making $1 million a year, and how much does the owner get and everything. So I believe that there's a lot of steps that we need to solve along the way. But then let's start with the city first, then go back into the rural areas. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jordan. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's move on to our next question. So I think we agree, and actually what I feel is that really at this moment why there is a lack of adoption for software solutions right now is because there are so many choices out there in the market, and it's never really an apple-to-apple comparison, right? I mean, let's take a simple question. Do I go with Booking.com or do I go with Airbnb? Oh my God, the commission rates are different. Oh my God, it's a different positioning altogether. Oh my God, they have like different segments now. So, you know, like where do I even start from, even though if we've got awareness checked out? So, with that said, with so many choices, do you think that this is causing more confusion than clarity for buyers in the room? Bayu, maybe we can start with you. What do you think?
Okay. So for me, yes, this creates a lot of confusion. First, from the OTAs, for example, from the platform, where should I sell my room? Should I sell only on Airbnb, only on Booking.com, or Airbnb and Booking.com, or even we want to catch also local market, right? We should be on Traveloka. We should also in Agoda, and there's a lot people also traveling in TripAdvisor. We can book a place in TripAdvisor. So for hospitality institution, that's just the first layer of choices, right? So if we decide to go with for example, 4 OTAs, then how should we manage availability across these platforms? Okay, so there's a software called Channel Manager, for example. So you can sync a calendar that you automatically blocked when one of the channel has been booked. Okay, what Channel Manager should I use? Oh, there's a lot. There's Cloudbeds. There's like SiteMinder. That's like if you search on Google, there's 100 of them, right? Actually, so which one should I use? Okay, this is a more difficult question, right? Because you cannot really see the feature of the, or you can see the feature, but you don't see the benefit of each of that platform. You have to try one by one, and then you try that for a month. Oh no, it's not really helping my operation, and then try again, another one, try again. So that's very difficult, and I think that is the biggest pain point to choose what kind of tools of technology to help, because it's not a la carte. So in my company, I just need this, plus I want to be able to do this. So I think when we have someone to answer that question, I think that would be much easier to decide on which platform that we can use. Probably a modular model would be good, because sometimes I use Channel Manager, but I don't need the pricing part.
Optimization.
The pricing optimization. Or maybe I don't. I have a Channel Manager. I need a messaging. I don't need, or I don't want to pay that much for something that I cannot touch, right? So by the way, there are some people that still think like that, right? So
Yes.
I don't get any hardware. This is just a platform that not even bringing any guests, right? So this is not an OTA. OTA is bringing guests, so we pay for a fee for the OTA. That's fine because they are bringing guests. So why should I pay for this platform? So I think awareness of this this kind of awareness, right? So why should I use this platform, and then what feature that I need for my company? Is it overkill for my small operation, or is it just enough? So I think that makes it the confusion to choose which platform that I need.
Okay. I think somebody who can also speak on that topic would be Jordan. Jordan, the last we had this conversation, you host the way you have built softwares internally, but you also at the same time you've done off the shelves as well. Maybe you can share a little bit more about that.
All right, it's host a stay, by the way.
Sorry, host a
it's
stay.
like you're hosting a party, so we're helping you to host a stay. So that is easier to remember. So we started off to use solution overseas, all right? Then we tried to use it, but it couldn't cater to our needs. Then we start to build it. I think to solve this problem is not about understanding all the hundreds of different software, but is what does your company or do you need? For example, that we have categorized it into 3 big portions, right? If you are going to just manage 5 properties, all right, then you can use something more on the retail side, okay? Meaning that you are managing potentially Airbnb alone could be sufficient, but if you are managing 20 units to 100 units, then you are more on a boutique side, you are more of a budget hotel range. So with this, then you potentially need something that can manage multiple properties. But if you are really looking into something hundreds and thousands of units and above, then there is a total different set of categories. So rather than going into understanding every single features available in the market, I believe the first thing is to understand what does your company really needs. Okay, if you say that, okay, I'm just going to do in Bali, all right, or I want to do China market, for example, I want to do China, I need to have C-Trip, all right. So if I want to tackle into Japanese market, I might need to have Rakuten, right? So different guests come from different areas, all right, and this is the first step, okay, because it's not a confusion of products. Sometimes internally there will be 3 people deciding to buy a software or not, and 3 of them couldn't come to an agreement. Okay, so the person using it is very, very critical. Okay, so that is basically step 1, understanding what your company wants. Right, then step 2, moving forward, you need to understand different products, but if you understand your categories, you know what questions to ask. Okay? Understanding this, if you are basically just having 2 or 3 units, okay, don't try to go ask everyone and hundreds of different players and ask them, hey, how can I have a discount or whatever? Not three units doesn't get you anywhere. But if you're managing hundreds of units, then you need to look into your portfolios. If you're just doing villas, then there are solutions that solve villas. High-rise is a total different set of solutions, and scattered projects are total different set of solutions. So even every company, because we are in the industry, we technically understand hundreds of players. Everyone has different strength. I will say that everyone survives for a reason, okay? But if you really want to implement a hotel system into a villa, you will definitely face problem because hotel system handle F&Bs and everything else because it's a 5-star hotel solution. So whatever price you pay is definitely you are not going to use probably 80% of the feature. So this is how to choose a product. My recommendation is definitely understand what you really want to do first.
Okay, thank you, Jordan. Ken, maybe we can hear a little bit about what you think.
Yeah, absolutely. We were pretty confused, to be honest. I think we went through like so many trials, trial after trial. yeah, my partner's shaking her head. She did most of the work, so she understands it quite painfully. So we basically went through each trial, and then we kept asking for extensions, and then end of the day, by month 3, we realized, shit, it doesn't work. So there's quite a lot of work in going to testing out all these systems as well. So for us, we are about 200 units, and at this point, it's a bit hard to use just the run-of-the-mill kind of systems. So yeah, this is definitely a big problem for us.
Okay, but in terms of a starting point, where do you think an end user should start then, in terms of assessing whether they should use SiteMinder, or whether they should use Cloudbase, or whether it's another software solutions then?
So I think that what we did was we went through each product, what they could do, whether they would sync well with all the online OTAs that we were going with. So for us, ours was our main business comes from Airbnb. So from Airbnb, what we look at is that at that point in time when we were doing it, a lot of them didn't have integration with Airbnb. So it kind of narrowed it down to like a few points. So for us, we focus on our main channel, and then we try and book it up from there.
Thank you. So are you saying integration is the number one and the starting point that you should actually look at? Bayu, do you agree?
Yes.
Definitely. Jordan, yes? Integration, yeah. Okay, so that's really, really interesting. Okay, so thanks panelists for sharing on that. All right, so thank you speakers for this very insightful debate. Now I'm going to open this to the floor. It's Q&A time. Can I get a mic, please, Vita? All right. Does anybody have any questions for any of our panelists here? Perhaps maybe any questions regarding integration, how to start? Should we build it internally? Should we or buy off-the-shelf softwares? Maybe a recommended software even? Is there anything that they are suggesting? Yes, Josh.
What is the difference between Cloudbase and Homestay?
Thanks for the question, Josh. I mean, we're basically providers, right, of technology, and the main difference that I would say probably, I mean, I'm not very familiar with your features, but I try my best not to hard sell, yeah. But basically, what we're doing here is basically a PMS, a property management system, which allows you to streamline your daily operations. In terms, what I'm talking about is your check-ins, your check-outs, your room assignments, and also your reporting, right? In that sense, so it helps you to monitor what's going on in your property. And then the channel manager is basically what you want if you have multiple channels or OTAs that you list on. So you have Booking.com, Airbnb, and then you have Expedia. And it becomes a hassle when you have too many of those listings, and you got to go into each of them to kind of, you close this one off because it's already booked on Booking.com. And it becomes a hassle. It's just manual work. You go in and out. And then you need the channel manager, any channel manager, actually, same function, to help you with that, automatically blocking off another room when this other one is already come in, right? And then there's the booking engine. The booking engine allows you to have direct bookings on your website. So it's just like practically someone calling you on your phone or on your email, but this is on your website. That means you're not paying any commissions. It's direct booking. You can give out as much discounts as you want just to incentivize, give them more reason to book online straight to you so you save more money. So that's basically like the main function that we provide. There are other features. If you want to go into it some more, we can definitely talk about it. At a different session, we can schedule up a demo even of the system. But overall, I think that's what these hospitality tech companies are doing for hoteliers, for property owners and managers. So yeah, maybe.
So thanks for asking the question. So host a stay, we are, I will believe cloud-based is more international, right? Host a stay, we are more local. So we are currently only in Malaysia. We are only expanding into Indonesia and Thailand. So how are we different? Because I personally tried a lot of software. So there are a few things that we are very different from the market. First thing, we have insurance covered in Malaysia. We have 80,000 of coverage, including 30% of all risks if you have break-ins, if people spoil your TV and whatever not. We have claimed up to 19,000 recently for fire damage and 50,000 on public liability. That is in Malaysia. We are talking in Thailand and Indonesia already. So that is our extra feature because a lot of people complain about it. Second thing we have is owner reporting, meaning that if you're managing on behalf, okay, because if you're comparing to the Western countries, a lot of people are managing for themselves. And here in Southeast Asia, people manage on behalf of people. So we have an owner reporting module. So it actually splits your profit sharing, let's say you say 30-70 or 80-20 or a fixed return, or if you can say that, okay, if you hit this mark, you get 70, I get 30. After you hit this mark, I get 70, you get 30. So these are things that we have customized to localize it. Besides that, property management system, channel management system is pretty off the shelf. So we have, we was using a channel manager externally, but thanks Airbnb, etc., we have API direct integration with Airbnb, Agoda, Booking.com, Expedia, and Ctrip. So those are the 5 that we have integrated.
Okay, thank you, Jordan. All right, do we have a next question, maybe? Anyone curious to ask about something? All right, maybe I can get a Bukit Vista person to ask a question then. Anyone? Deepa, do you have a question for the panel? Or Jing, do you have a question for the panel?
So, kind of what I've been experiencing with the homeowners here is they're kind of stuck in a kind of a layman. They don't want to put any money into marketing. They don't want to get a website. Basically, they expect or think that I can just pull guests out of the thin air and put them in their homes without any tools to be able to help manage these properties. And so, like, explaining to them that they need to be able to supply me with these tools to be able to manage these homes is my biggest barrier, being able to get to our guests, basically. And so that, especially down here in Southeast Asia or Bali, they just don't want to do that. Like, I'm working with a guy constructs these homes, and then he asked me, hey, manage these for me? And I'm like, well, I need a budget for social media marketing, I need a budget for internet, web space, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, I'll think about it. And I'm like, well, you supply your employees that build these homes with tools and hourly wages. I don't understand where this needs to continue.
I think the homeowners don't want to invest in marketing, social media, websites, blah, 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 because there is so many agents here in Bali that you pay commission to, and you don't have to do anything anymore. So you just give them a little bit of money. They make sure they pay the Google ads. They make sure you're on all the different OTAs. You're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, you're everywhere. And they only have to pay a small percentage from every booking they make. So they guarantee that the agency will make a lot of bookings because that's how they earn the money. To earn back the money they spend on Google ads, etc., etc., etc. And that's probably why the villa owners don't want to invest in websites and other things.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true what you're describing here, and that's a very similar situation that we're encountering as well. So obviously here, cost is a big factor, and when we're talking about cost, it also comes in. There also comes in a bigger picture of. I mean, we've all heard about it here, being in Bali, that there is an oversupply of accommodations, right? The average occupancy will be around 50%. And there's always more and more accommodations like popping up everywhere, especially small ones. And when there becomes this oversupply, and then the market actual demand is not really increasing in the same rate. Obviously, marketing sometimes can become I don't know a good way to put it. It might become useless. You know what I mean? It's not hitting the right target sometimes. So investing in tools for marketing is, for me, maybe I'm a little bit biased on this, but absolutely it would be a good idea to invest on. Because as I said before, people now are booking online. The whole experience of making a decision of staying somewhere is done online. It's done on the smartphone. It's done on the laptop, anywhere that you can access internet. Information overflow everywhere, and it's just about directing the right information to the right people, and obviously you can achieve that with the SEOs, digital marketing, and all that. There are many providers that can help you do that, but it comes down to, again, everything is related here. We're talking about the user experience in the end. We're talking about the guest experience, of course, also what brand you're building, what kind of experience that you want these people to go home with. So, and from there, you can build up like repeater guests, right? You build your own audience in that. So investing in technology nowadays is always a good idea, in my opinion. I think, you know,
Can I
you
add
would
on a
agree
bit?
with that.
All right. So my perspective, the property investor or someone that built a house spends millions to build a house. I personally don't think they should be forking out the money to put it on social media, right? And there is a second party, which is the host. Okay, we are basically running the property without needing to invest millions to build the property. I think that it is actually an opportunity that we invest it ourselves, market it as your host, and put it on your on your own website. Then it becomes your portfolio, right? So I mean, they just want a property or two, all right? So if a host basically invests in themselves, the brand name of it, for example, like Bukit Vista or whatever not, you create the website and the inventory comes and go, but the brand stays. I think that is giving the host, because you really do not want to market a hotel, for example, Hotel A, and the Hotel A becomes so famous on Booking.com, they don't even need a host anymore. So personally, I would think the one coming out with the money should be the host, because it should really value adds to your business also.
Okay, that's very interesting. But when we look at OTAs and we look at websites, is the panel saying that actually that OTAs have better capabilities than on marketing, right? Than say building a custom website?
Basically, same thing. The host is doing the marketing. The OTA doesn't collect money from us to do the marketing. Mm-hmm. They are supposed to pay Google themselves, right? So that's why they earn OTA fee from us. I still believe that same like Marriott's, even if you use Booking.com, you should still create a brand, right? With the brand, then you do marketing for return customer, right? I believe that should be the way forward. Unless you can name me a 5-star hotel without their own booking engine, Okay, I believe every five-star hotel has their own booking engine, and they still use AgodaBooking.com. There is no five-star hotel that has their own booking engine and doesn't use Booking.com. Okay, so I think we are in a very easy position. Just reference to hotel, what the hotel do successfully, we follow, but then we customize it and localize it and make it easier for us. Yeah.
So I think hotels definitely have the resources to have the luxury of resources to be able to tap on both sort of channels. But what about for villa managers, right, or single unit villas? Between the two, which do you think should the priority or the focus be on first, actually?
For villa managers, for example, even for Marriott's, they have multiple hotels. They have hundreds of hotels, but there's only one website, right? You can't afford to have hundreds of Marriott's A, B, C, D in different places. Same thing for hosts. If you only have one property, what I really recommend, just a suggestion, there is a Bali short stay website and gathers all the hosts here, everyone puts on it. I don't know. It could be a community thing. Yeah. Seems like Jinx wants to talk something.
Oh, okay. I have actually a question to the audience. Sorry, I was actually outside a little bit having a discussion, but can we do a survey and see what channels are people using right now? Maybe if we can just go around the room and see what property management system people are currently using. I know a few people here, so maybe I'll start with Joe. Joe, what does Little Cabin use for their property management service? Host a stay. Okay, very good. And Sabino, do you use a property management system? No, no property management system. Okay, all right. Julie? Only Airbnb. Okay, fantastic. You, sir, over there, do you use a property management system?
On the Airbnb, but I'm also interested to know if there is any suggestion for like small villa or small property. Like
Okay.
only for the synchronization of the calendar if somebody knows.
Okay, only Airbnb, but interested to know if there's synchronization systems for smaller properties, yeah?
Yeah.
Sabina? No, like a property management system. Where do you connect all your different channels into? Airbnb, Booking.com, all the other ones? Is there a synchronized calendar system? Oh, no channel manager. Okay, all right, let's see. Does anybody else, let's say, Fiza, do you use a property management system? Okay. Anybody else would like to contribute and volunteer what property management system they're using? Okay, yes. Leon.
Yes, thank you, Jinx. We've been managing properties from the last 6-7 years. We've been using multiple different PMS and search engines or channel manager. Currently, we stick on Star,
Star,
which is New Zealand.
Okay,
and
fantastic.
also PHP for channel manager.
Okay, fantastic.
And now they have many. Roy Bax, the latest one, and they have many.
How happy are you with your channel manager from a scale of 1 being terrible and 5 being great?
At this time, we divide into twos for
Okay.
the hotel and resort, which is like a larger scale of operationals. So we're using PHP, which is national Indonesian. So very good. I'm very happy. So 5.
Okay, very good.
And then we obligate for our partners to use or to install either by in a local server or cloud-based.
Okay.
For a hotel and a resort. For 3 to 5 stars hotel, then we use that as an obligation. But for the rentals, we're currently working with a very local, genuine developers, which is Guest Pro.
Guest Pro.
Yeah, Guest Pro.
I heard of Guest Pro the other day.
And they
Okay.
currently having, I've just chatted with the CEO, and they're now having, they have 250 clients around
Okay.
Indonesia.
All right,
So
fantastic.
they're local, they are from, they're Ubudian, they're from Ubud. So they're very young, very talented.
I invited Guest Pro to come today, but I don't know if they actually showed up.
Yes, actually, I remind them about the event again, but they're very, they a lot of technical things going on today. That's what they say.
Okay.
And but Star is one of the channel manager that's connected to Airbnb.
Okay.
We work with EC with all of in the last 7 years. So I give a tips today. So it's like I'm not I didn't get paid for that.
Okay, a free
But
endorsement.
it's just for everyone in the room. So
Okay,
so
sounds good.
that's very good because they integrated, and also I haven't really known very well about the hostel stay and cloud beds, right? So I would like to talk further later on.
Okay, that's what we're here.
Yes.
Emily
thank you.
from Nye Hospitality, which property management system do you guys
Thank
use?
you.
Okay, hi, I'm Emily, and we use Smart BNB for our daily operations,
Okay.
and your portal as a PMS.
Okay.
I mean the channel managers.
Okay, sounds good. Does anybody use Tokit by any chance?
When I joined the company, we used Talkit, but after we have been into some hassles, and we stopped using the Talkit.
Okay, all right, fantastic. Does anybody have any channel managers that they used to use but they do not use anymore? No? Okay. Okay, I'd like to ask the panel this. This is one of my favorite questions, right? And it's related to this concept of a network effect. So when we open our phones, there's often just one application we go to get our needs done on the internet. Now that might be WhatsApp for messaging, it might be Instagram for photo sharing, it might be Facebook for social networking, it might be LinkedIn for professional networking. It might be one of these things. Now, one of my theories is that in the future of travel, there's probably going to be one app that everybody will open to get everything planned out. Flights, accommodations, experiences, transportation, just a single app experience. So does the panel think that network effects will affect their viability in the future if a single platform actually ends up being the only platform that people go to travel and experience things when they are on holiday?
I think there's a high possibility that would happen, my personal opinion. I mean, we've already seen this kind of happen in other industries as well, right? Gojek, Grab, those are the go-to super apps right now here in Indonesia. Traveloka for sure. So there's definitely a possibility because in the end, again, as I said before, people are just looking for an ease of experience. Like they're always just trying to get things as best and as easy as possible. And those services that could provide that sort of experience will be up there. Will be the one basically. But yeah, it just comes down to what everyone needs and wants are, I think, in my opinion. But there is a higher chance of that. I mean, again, if you look at the hospitality industry, there's TripAdvisor, right? For a long time, TripAdvisor has been the leading user content generated content for reviews. People go there to find out what's going on about this property, you know. And if someone makes a comment and then the host answers on that platform, that's always a good thing. If it is a bad review, then that's fine again, as long as that guest or that host kind of replies to that bad review, takes it in as a positive criticism, then that will always be a good thing for the property, obviously. But yeah, those kind of things are also there out there. Yeah.
I agree that there will be a super app. Okay, it's already proven. But what does the industry going into now? Everyone is going in. For example, that you take an Air Asia flight, it's almost nearly impossible for you to book a hotel on Air Asia, right? I see that previously you go into Alibaba to look for everything, but then now they are going into a deeper. So for example, people goes to Airbnb for Airbnb, all right? They goes to a platform for hotel. I believe that people will be going for a very specific experience platform. For example, now it's like you have a lot of things in one single app, but in the future there will be a segregated app for a very, very deep vertical that has a very, very deep experience, for example. So I don't think that there is an app that can cater for the whole industry. Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you, Jordan, for sharing that with us. Jing, any other questions or for the panel? Bayu, you have something to say. Use this.
Okay, so I think this is just my view. I'm agree with the verdict that probably there will not be one super app that can deliver like the entire experience or flights and accommodation and also experience. But what I see the trend is that probably there's meta app that is above that. Like we seen that already with like Google Assistant and Alexa. That hey Alexa, play my music on Spotify and book a place on Airbnb. Probably that would be the super app that is outside that because even between these OTAs like Airbnb and Booking.com, it's also different concept, right? It's not really the same market. Sometimes it's crossing, but mostly like people looking for beautiful homes that is not a commodity basically. While in Booking.com, mostly it's hotel with service that is always provided, and then maybe there's another thing that is very unique, like couch surfing, for example. That if you don't want to pay but you want to socialize, then there's a platform for that. So I think for a one platform to do everything, to book everything, that could be a meta app that is outside of this travel scope.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Bayu. So we have to end the session right now, but we're running out of time for this topic. So thank you everyone for your questions, and thank you panelists for your kind contributions. All right, so we've had 2 long panels now, and I'm sure everyone's a little hungry, a little hot, a little bit thirsty. So we're going to break for lunch right now, but do carry on staying upstairs as we've lined up a workshop on how to make a Balinese offering. So that offering is that small little basket that you see everywhere in Bali, right? That's called a canang. So Wayana, our co-founder of Bukit Vista, will be teaching that. There will be a small workshop on that. So, all right. So thank you everyone, and see you upstairs for lunch.